and welcome back to the Entertainment Vortex. We are at Brennan Theaters today watching A Wrinkle in Time, Disney's newest larger-than-life film. Going into this, I really had no idea what to expect. The trailer is very interesting. It's visually stunning. You see that this is going to be a special effects heavy movie, and it's very like larger than life, and you kind of feel a wonder when watching the trailer, but yet you don't really get a whole lot of the story. And I didn't really understand what the trailer was trying to portray. So going into this movie, I was intrigued, but I didn't really know what the movie was about. The movie's about a mind is what it's about. The entire thing had me thinking that Alice in Wonderland and the story around it was normal compared to this. Like, that was just completely sane, you know, barking bread loaves and stuff like that. This is really weird. And it's not just the visuals that are weird. The whole first half of the movie was just me in my mind going, what? Wait, what? What the hell's going on? Wait, what? None of it made any sense to me. And then there's one event that happens in the middle that kind of fills in some gaps for you. And once that happens, I'm like, okay, I kind of see what's going on here. I'm not sure if they're going for a philosophical spin on this, or if this is really supposed to be a simple, you know, good versus evil kind of concept. But I was intrigued to see where it went.
As someone who enjoyed the novel as a kid, I have a slightly different perspective on this movie than Nick does. While this movie definitely has some faults, I'll start with some of the positives. It follows the story fairly well, shedding some of those heavier religious overtones and choosing to embrace more of like the sci-fi fantasy kind of feel. And I feel like it succeeds in a lot of that. Rather than making something that could potentially be controversial in this day and age, it makes something that's somewhat digestible and more suited for like a young type audience, which is definitely something that they'll see some box office return for.
The one thing that is super clear with this movie is that the visuals are just through the roof. They are amazing. There's always something new to look at that's unique and larger than life and just gorgeous. And the colors they use in some of these scenes are just mind-boggling, which is good because it distracts you from the feeling of what the hell am I watching, what the hell is going on.
The acting performances I felt were top-notch, especially with their young lead, Storm Reed. I think she has a great career ahead of her. Her emotions were well played out, and they made you feel things when she reacted to something that was upsetting or something that was inspiring. I also felt like a lot of the other acting performances were just as stellar. I don't know necessarily as many of the other names aside from, you know, the big people like Oprah and Reese Witherspoon and that sort of thing. Their performances were excellent. They definitely create characters that are enjoyable to watch, and that's important in this kind of a movie. This is a very character-driven film.
With the mind aspect of this, you will get to a point where you understand what's going on. At least I did get to a point where I understood what was going on. Everything came together, and I saw what they were trying to accomplish. I just feel they did it in a very convoluted way, and I feel it needed more time. If they would have eased you into some of these concepts, instead of saying, you know, read these 16 philosophy books in the next 10 minutes to understand what they're talking about, there are characters in this movie that are children and are literally handed super confusing concepts, and they're like, cool, I get it, let's just go forward. I'm going to do this crazy larger-than-life thing that barely anybody would be able to do. And it happens over and over again. I felt like the characters were figuring it out before I was, even though we were being given the same amount of information. That is kind of interesting. Like, you kind of have to suspend disbelief in this a lot.
The themes from the book do hold up very well on screen. Heavy sense of morality, a battle against, you know, light versus dark, and overall the most important theme, love. Those are messages that work well in today's society. I think they're honestly pretty timeless. Everybody could use a little more morality in their life. Everybody could use a little more love. And I think that that's something that a movie like this can spread a really good message, especially a movie that's aimed at younger audiences because it starts from the bottom.
I feel all the acting was fantastic. Like I said earlier, a lot of young stars in this, and all of them did great. You believe them and what they're going through and their fear and the emotions and all the loss and all that stuff that they're going through. You believe it. You believe that these are complex characters. And then Mindy Kaling and Oprah and Reese Witherspoon did a great job as those three characters, and I won't give away who they are so you can experience what in the world they are yourself. I thought they did great too. I felt that they were quirky. There was a neat aspect to their characters, and it made me want to see what they were going to say or do next, even though some of the things they did were really weird. This is almost a movie where we would have to do a spoiler review because there are so many very odd things that happen in this movie that left me going, wait, what? When I got done with the movie, there were specific things that were said that I feel were almost plot holes because they let them go. They didn't resolve them. It didn't work the way that it appeared to be going. And those kind of bug me, but I almost think it's because they took this long novel and they put it in this short package.
The visual effects in this film are absolutely stunning. Beautiful, colorful scenes presented over like these interesting planets that have some similarities to Earth, but also are hugely based in fantasy and just have this way of drawing you in and making you want to like say, hey, can we spend another 10-15 minutes here? I want to learn more. I want to know what creatures exist here. I want to know how humans react to being on these places for long periods of time and finding out more about the worlds that they're building. Because even in the book, they don't necessarily dig too deep into those themes. The set pieces are very well described, but they're not meant to be more than just a new place that they're headed to try to find the end goal of their journey. Now on to some of the negatives. This movie has many faults, most of them being derived from some pacing struggles. This movie moves very quickly. It doesn't leave a lot of room for characters to interact in a way that's new or nuanced. It kind of moves so fast that it makes it difficult to keep up. Whereas the book doesn't have those struggles. Because it's a novel, they're able to dig into characters and they're able to make scenes last the way that they're supposed to. And it just doesn't give some of those scenes the weight that it should and makes things kind of seem a little off. Because the story is rushed along, it does prevent some of the characters from really finding their moments, and it stops you from really enjoying some of that beautiful scenery that they're creating. And that's a definite fault for this film. The scenery is one of the best parts about it, and being distracted by kind of like, oh, why did they do that? It puts you in a situation where you're kind of scratching your head wondering, does what they said just make sense? Does any of this make sense at all? Being someone that's read the book, obviously I know a little more about the reasons why they portray characters in a certain way and the reasons why they react, but if you're not having that actually take place in the film, someone who's just a casual watcher isn't going to know those things. Interactions between characters become muddled and cliched, which is a disservice, especially considering that those performances were pretty spectacular. It's just based on the limited script they're given, it's not allowing them to shine as brightly as they could.
Overall, this movie is very enjoyable. I'm glad I saw it. It got me thinking. I just feel it could have been done a lot better. I have not read the book, so I don't know what the changes were that they made from the book to film. I thought going in it was 3 books. I thought it was a trilogy, but it turns out it's just the 1 book. But I'm pleased I saw it. If you were intrigued by the trailers, I suggest seeing it because just for the visual aspect alone of this movie, it's worth a watch. We watched it in 3D, which we normally don't do. After seeing the kaleidoscope effects and things like that in the trailers, I thought this was the perfect 3D movie, and I was right. The 3D in this movie was amazing. You're going to see things that you're just not expecting, and your imagination's going to run wild. It is gorgeous, some of these scenes. And some of them are haunting as well. But I think that's the biggest strength of this. Good performances, crazy visuals, just crazy awesome visuals, and a story that it's good, but really hard to follow. Really hard to follow.
Overall, I would give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. I'm really glad that we went to watch this. It was something that, because I enjoyed the book, I really wanted to see what they were capable of doing with the film, but it really could have used another 30 minutes of runtime. Some parts do fall flat because you really don't get the impact of the characters' reactions to the things that are happening around them because you don't get enough time to actually learn about the characters and really learn what they're capable of.
So I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. I definitely enjoyed it. I'm glad I saw it. I'm not going to rush out to see it again, but I feel it was a well-done movie. It was well-acted, well-constructed. It was unique. That's definitely something I'll give this movie. It was very unique. I can't really think of another movie I can directly compare it to. And it's very seldom we get movies like that in the world of rehashes and reboots and remakes, that you get something unique, and this is absolutely something unique. So I'm curious to know, what book did you read when you were younger that hasn't been made into a movie yet you'd love to see as a movie? Leave that in the comment section down below. There are so many out there that still haven't been converted that deserve to be converted. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. We post a minimum of 4 videos a week, including a movie review, a Funko Pop video, and 2 gaming videos. We've got some exciting stuff coming up. Also, don't forget we have t-shirts with our logo on it. The link for that is in the description down below. Also, if you're one of our gaming fans, don't forget that we also have a special link for chrono.gg, which is chrono.gg/vortex. They have a new game every single day on deep discount, and if you use our link, it helps us out as well as gets you a great deal. That link is also in the description. We hope you'll follow us into the Vortex. We'll see you next time.